be with you. This is CRISTIANA ELTRAYAN, your host for the event today. And I'm the author of the Pranic Nourishment Unveiled webinar, but also the Pranic World book. I'm happy to be able to contact you in this way. It's so easy now to have um, this technology available for us and to be able to reach each other. I've followed my guidance to do the event today because it's an important day in the evolution of humanity, and it's an important crossing point where we're learning more about our capabilities and what we can maybe bring into our lives to make our lives thrive. This event is going to be about 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. You're having access to it via our webinar page or via YouTube. So what I'm first going to share before getting into the theme, I'm going to share the methods how you can commune with us and communicate with us during the webinar. Whether you're on the webinar page or the YouTube page, you have a chat box to the right of the video if you're on laptop, or below the video if you're on your tablet or iPhone or smartphone. You can use that chat box to write comments to us and to ask questions to us, because the theme of the day is an interactive theme. We want to be able to communicate with each other and hear your questions and hear your approach to the theme of the day. Also, we're gonna make it so that you can participate. So if you have comments you want to bring in certain aspects of your own experience, we would love to hear from you, and we would love to see what it is with. Um, so feel free to participate as much as possible. It's an interactive webinar. We love to hear from you. We would love to be live with you. But until we're live, during the next conferences that we have all over the world, or during the festivals, we are very happy to be able to commune in this way. The theme of the day, Pranic Nourishment Unveiled, will be about the scientific discoveries in the field of pranic nourishment, about various life paths that can lead to this um, state of being, because it's a state of being. It's not an achievement. It's not something. It's not a goal. It's a state of being that follows or is the result of a certain lifestyle and a certain practices. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it from different perspectives, because as you know, there are thousands of people all over the world practicing this online right now. There are thousands of people who are nourished by prana. Some of them don't need to take physical food at all. Some others do take some physical food on regular basis, maybe a little bit daily or a little bit weekly, or once or twice a month, just to enjoy their communities and their community gatherings, or the invitations to their friends' meals and so on. So this reality is growing bigger and bigger, and we're meant to learn about it and get accustomed to it, so that we can be aligned with it as it happens more and more in our community as well. Um, so these people have shared their experiences with me. Some of them are my close friends. Some of them are people that I've met along my journeys during the Pranic festivals, during the Pranic conferences that I've held around the world, or during the Pranic initiations that I've participated to. I'm also studying this life path, and have been on it for more than 8 years now. So I'm 80, 90, sometimes 100% nourished by prana. Some days I do take physical food in very small amounts and vegan food mostly. And some days I do not need to take any physical food. I only drink water or some juice and I feel very, very good. This is a reality that I've been tuning into for the last 8 years. And from what I know and from what I've observed with my body, is that it takes a certain preparation, it takes a certain practice. So with this, I add the warning of not trying this at home without having a tutor or initiation or without having a very good mind body connection, because it literally might kill you. So it is true that to some extent people do eat food to survive. And if you do not have a certain daily spiritual practice that is specifically meant to bring more chi, more energy into your body, and as a byproduct, diminish the quantity of food, it is not advised for you to stop eating or to diminish your food intake, just to check what your body does. You have to have a certain practice, you have to have a certain lifestyle to be able to support this and stay alive. So this is the introduction to what I'm going to talk about today. Um, and I'm also going to be introducing my fifth book, the Pranic World book. I have it here. Oh, thanks God. When you thought you have it all prepared, you notice that you forgot to bring the book, but it's here. The Pranic World book is my latest written. It's part of a series of 3 books. This one is Being Free from Hunger. So the first volume of the series. It talks about pranic nourishment, about the ability of being nourished by energy, chi, or prana. From my research and from the experience of the people I've interviewed and spent time with and participated to the gatherings and festivals with. So it's a global research that I've done for the past 9 years that is comprised in this book, and it also includes scientific studies that have been made on different scientific realms, and it speaks about the results that they have and how this is possible from a scientific point of view. So I'm going to detail more about this in the next moments, but now I'm just presenting, the topics that we're going to approach today. So feel free to, let your friends and family know that you're having your personal growth moment for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. Feel free to use headphones or earphones if you want to be more comfortable and not be disturbed by the noise around you. And also feel free to bring pen and paper if you want to write things down. We'll be giving out some tips and some references to scientific studies, so maybe this will be useful for you in the future. Okay, so welcome everyone. This recording is going to be available for you for 24 hours, so you can watch it, replay it, and you can also share the link for people to be able to join the recording of the webinar. So um, the link will be posting it next to your video or below the video, so that people can connect to it. Let's see. Everyone feeling comfortable, feel free to write in the chat box your name and country so that we know where you're from. And if you're all here and ready, I'm gonna start this journey with you. Okay, so here's the link to the page where people can still subscribe, or they can still subscribe for the days to come and watch it as a recording, because it's groundbreaking information, and it's useful for all your friends, even though even if they're not interested in pranic nourishment at all, even if they are not in any way, shape, or form in the spiritual realm. Nourishment is nourishment. We all do it. We all need food. We all or some source of energy to nourish ourselves. So therefore, we want to be informed about this possibility, especially because it can also heal our bodies and cure illnesses and harmonize our state of mind and so on. So this is why you might want to share it. I first heard of this thing called pranic nourishment, or the ability of being nourished by chi, in 2009, 2010, when some of my friends presented me with the possibility of participating to a workshop in my country, a workshop which was held by a lady who was nourished by prana. The first time I heard of it, I was practicing meditation and various spiritual techniques. So to me, it seemed natural. This is a thing that I have in my blueprint. It's something I've experienced before. When I heard of it, I said, "Well, let's go and meet her because I'm sure this is true." Some people, though, are very skeptical, and when they hear about this, they think it's all a bunch of woo stuff. And it's sad that in this moment of evolution, where we have access to so much information and to so many possibilities, people are still wishy-washy or reluctant about this stuff, because it's the ability of our physical body to extract energy from the vacuum. It's something that it does naturally, and it's been scientifically proven. Actually, in the 90s, the 80s first, there was a study started by Paul Weber that has studied the human body using calorimetry measurements with suits made in collaboration with NASA. So they were made for NASA, and he was studying the metabolic percentages of how the body actually produces and uses the calories. And with these suits that were very, very well perfected and able to measure the calorimetry of the body, they were able to measure the amount of energy that was produced and the amount of energy that was consumed in the body. And also the amount of energy that was coming as a food intake and the amount of energy that the body really used, for the activity that the subjects were doing. And what they discovered with these studies and these suits is that at least 8 to 24% of the calories in the body were coming from an unaccounted source. So um, the theoretical amount of energy that was in the body, when compared to the actual measurable amount of energy in the body, was, at the a difference of 24%. So 24% of the energy of the body, so to speak, was coming from an unaccounted source, was not coming from the food that the subjects were intaking. So if normal people in normal condition with a normal lifestyle and normal food intake have at least 24% of prana, or unaccounted energy, in their bodies that they use daily, without it coming from food, then imagine a person who is training in holistic techniques, who's practicing qigong, who's practicing yoga, who's practicing breathing techniques and various other methods of increasing the chi intake, you know, that person would naturally increase that unaccounted amount of energy or the pranic level in the body naturally by these practices, by opening the channels up to more energy, to extracting more energy from the vacuum or receiving more energy from the source of creation, from God, from the universal force, however you want to call it. So naturally, when we do certain practices, or unaccounted source of energy or pranic intake is increasing. That's the explanation for pranic nourishment. One of them, the lifestyle and the practices that we do daily have a strong impact on the energy we are producing naturally and the way we're consuming it in our body. Um, Another important study, which was done before that, so this study has started in 1972 and was held by Dr. Paul Weber. And as I said, he is a specialist collaborating with NASA. He's especially, working in the field of calorie measurements, but other physical percentages measurements. But there were also other studies performed before, started in 1980s, I guess, by by two other different scientists that have proven the same. That have proven that the human body is practically having a metabolism similar to the combustion of the inorganic matter, in nature. So we're literally feeding ourselves through inner combustion. That's what they discovered in the 19th century. So very, very early on, there were discoveries on this subject and research on this subject and things that do not have an explanation for. I'm going to say it again. I don't know if I've been correct with this, so I'm going to say it again for those of you who have still questions. So G.P. Benedict and Wilbur Atwater, these are the scientists that have studied this in the 19th century, have discovered that the human metabolism is the same as combustion in inorganic nature. So we're doing the same thing, the same combustion to feed ourselves as inorganic nature does. So this was a groundbreaking discovery that was then taken on by Dr. Paul Webb, and which is, like I said, a specialist in aerospace medicine. So somebody collaborating with NASA is a very serious, scientist. And his discoveries were published in peer-reviewed scientific publications that were very, very well documented in the scientific world. So this proves that we're only beginning to open to this possibility from the scientific point of view, and there's still research to be done, and we're hoping that it will be done soon, because there's this necessity of more explanations for those who are skeptical, but also for those who want to approach this on medical basis. And from this, imagine how this how the studies could evolve and how we could open to infinite possibilities of what the human body can do and how it can heal itself and how it can self-harmonize very easily. Because, from my personal experience with my own body and my own research on this, my own practice, and from the experience of my friends who are Pranic people and of the people I've researched, because before this, I've created the Pranic Consciousness Summit, which is an online platform where I interviewed more than 22 people, and it's still ongoing. More than 22 people on their path and their challenges and their achievements with pranic nourishment, and people that have been nourished by prana for more than 18 years now and without the necessity of intaking food or water. So, groundbreaking stuff for some. I've interviewed them. I've had open talks with them that are published, online, and um, they've all shared the way they got to this. They've all shared the methods and the things that they used along their path to be able to maintain this lifestyle, and also the challenges that they've had. So it's a well-based research that we're doing here. I was saying that from my experience with this on my own body and with the friends and the specialists that I've interviewed, I've seen that the body can self regenerate very quickly, self rejuvenate. It can shift frequency very quickly from low to high. If ever we get, unbalanced, it can very easily rebalance itself while on this lifestyle, while on this path. The less the food, the more the pranic intake, the more we are able to self regulate. And also at the level of the emotional and mental state, the balance that it brings, if well balanced as pranic percentage, is tremendous. And what I can tell you, I'm not willing to convince anyone, but what I can tell you is you can follow our pages, the Pranic Consciousness Summit page, which is on Facebook, and our Pranic Festival in Romania page, which is also on Facebook, because we're also hosting a live event in August 15 to 19 every year. You can follow these pages and see the interviews and the talks of all these people and see the balance and the well-being that they're emanating, because it's all clear when you look at them, and also to be able to be in contact with them and live with them as I did is a great lesson of harmony and self-balance and kindness and so on. So this is what pranic nourishment brings, and if it were researched more in depth, I'm sure it would bring groundbreaking information for also the medical field, and the self healing field as well. And as it has been discovered, the more we decrease the food intake, the more this percentage of unaccounted energy in the body is increasing. So the percentage of prana is actually increasing with lifestyle, daily practice, and the decrease of physical food. Because it's like having a hybrid device. You're having a car that's using either electricity or gas. The more you switch it on electricity, the better it works with that fuel. That's the same with the human body. The more you switch it on prana, the more you diminish your food intake and do the daily practices. So I'm insisting on practice because I've seen so many people harming themselves. And I'm actually a therapist working and doing therapy with these people, among other things. So the more you do that, the more you have, the more you're energized, the more the prana flows through your body. So this is what the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has published so far. calorimetry study, which has proven that the more we decrease our food intake, the more we are nourished by an unaccounted source of energy, and also that the energy that the body is consuming is coming at least in 24%, 25% from a source of energy that is not food. So from something else. What is this something else? What could it be? So this something else has been named in various traditions, and it's been called prana in the Hindu tradition, the yogic tradition. It's been called chi in the Chinese bhikkhu and qigong tradition. It's been called mana in the Maya tradition and other. It's been called energy in the scientific tradition, and and it's also called calories in the medical tradition. So it has various names. It's but even though it has so many names, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the energy that is nourishing us and giving us life. Where could it come from? It's the next question. Well, the studies that I've done and the people that I've talked with and the seminars and workshops that I've been in, because I've been training for 6 or 7 years with Jasmuheen, who is the beginner of this movement in Europe. Um, I've noticed that this energy comes from inside of us, from within us. So it's not something we have to open up and receive or take from some place else or not even breathe in. It's called breatharianism in certain circles, but really it's not nourishment coming from breath. Breath can increase the percentage of prana that we have in our body because breath, harmonious breathing, is regulating our inner rhythms and it's putting us in a more relaxed state when the body can do its job. But it's not breath that is nourishing us. The breath only regulates the rhythm of our body so that we can be nourished by this inner source. So, what is the source of energy? Well, this source of energy is, are you ready for this? Our own cells. Our own cells, our own DNA, our own molecules are the source of energy for the for the or the gateways, at least not the source but the gateways, f- in order for this energy to manifest in our bodies. So science has proven, and the studies of Nassim Haramein and others have proven that our cells are like little black holes that are able to not only absorb but also emanate energy. So, and there are other studies, especially the studies that have been made by a Russian scientist. I'll post the article soon because I don't remember now the name. There are studies that have been made that have proven that our body is actually generating photonic energy. So it's a photonic emanator, and it can um, it can generate energy. This is how we um, we are nourished, by going with our attention in ourselves, by regulating our breath, by being aware that each and every molecule of our body is actually a light generator or an energy generator, and by being trained into increasing the way our body generates this energy, we are nourished. This is a training, this is a path of self mastery, and it's actually the byproduct of our personal balance and our lifestyle. So, what we're saying with this webinar and with all our research and books and everything else that we've created and published is that pranic nourishment is the result of the lifestyle and spiritual practice, and it's not the very path of you being more spiritual. So if you are already on this path, if you are already practicing something like yoga, qigong, tai chi, and if you are aware and training your body to be able to intake more energy from this source that they call unaccounted and that we call divine, or universal energy, if you are doing this, your food intake will naturally decrease and you'll be able to be nourished more and more and more by prana. But stopping the food intake or diminishing the food intake and trying to be pranic without any daily, consistent, persistent daily practice will get you imbalanced and killed. That's a fact, and it has been also proven by some who have practiced this, maybe not harmoniously. Okay, so this is it so far. We're gonna go deeper in the pranic nourishment research that has been done and how this is possible from a scientific level. But before that, we're also going to say that from our research, because I was going through my journey a little bit, I got caught into telling you the story how it's possible. So my journey started with visiting these webinars these workshops that have been done in Romania by Jasmine. Then, along the years, discovering more and more about this, I've been joining workshops and conferences all over the world. I've been doing a practice in Thailand for 10 days without nourishment in a retreat called Darkroom Retreat, and I've written a book about this that you can find on Amazon. A training that is meant to increase your capabilities of tuning into the energy fields, and as a byproduct it can decrease the food intake, but mostly it's an initiation in self mastery, because it's done in dark, it's done without any physical distraction. You don't have internet, you don't have chats, you don't have talks with others, not so much. So you're only tuning into yourself, and you're in the dark, and you're either fasting or nourished by prana. So the training is really revealing, and it's really bringing more and more awareness upon yourself. This training has helped me discover for the first time that I'm, able to be nourished in this way. And then I've continued at home for almost a month without the need of physical food. I was only taking half an apple a day, some days, or sometimes a juice, and the rest of the days I couldn't intake any food or water. And it was very interesting because my state was so high and so tuned that I would literally perceive everything around me, the thoughts of others, the imbalances, and also the joy of the world, and the telepathic transmissions that my friends were doing, the rhythms of the building that I was in, and so on. So I was in a very, very heightened state of consciousness at the time. And also, I was able to practice various sports and go roller skating and do my daily activities. I was organizing food-based events at the time, so I was doing all that, and my body would not feel weak or imbalanced. I was also healing some parts of my body, which made the journey a little bit difficult along the way, along that month. But still, for more than 21 days, I've been nourished constantly, consistently by a source of energy that is not accountable. So it's not food. Then I've continued with my normal food intake, but it has decreased very, very much. And s- um, it's a vegan food intake for more than 6 years, I guess. And up to this day, I've been decreasing more and more the amount of food that I'm having daily. At the moment, I'm having one little vegan snack in the evening. It can be tomato juice, or it can be a soup, or it can be some bruschetta with with avocado or something, just to balance, because I get very alien like in my environment, and there's literally no people here that are nourished by prana, and not even by far in my community. So I have to be able to get stay tuned into this, and be able to do my work here. So I'm still having a little amount of food or juices once a day. But also I have days where I only take water, and I feel very, very good. Actually, for some days now, I'm taking water up to 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, and it's the best way for my body at the moment, because it allows the body to detox, to regenerate, to rejuvenate, to process not only food but also emotions and thoughts. The consciousness gets more and more heightened while on this path, and the emotions and the mental field is getting cleared and cleansed along the way. So this would be another benefit of the pranic nourishment altogether. So this is my lifestyle and my research now, and my friends and the people I collaborate with for the Pranic Consciousness Summit and for the Pranic Festival in Romania are having similar lifestyles. So either they are nourished by prana for many years without any food intake, you know, like Miritom is, or Elitomelamine, or others, or they have a little snack every once in a while, a little dinner with friends, and the rest of the time they're only having juices and liquids, like Jasmine and Pascal Martelli and others. So there's variations on this path, and I've known most of them directly by talking to these people and spending time with them, and that's what has helped me actually write this book, and do this research more in depth, enable just to be able to help other people understand this reality, because it's very much a part of the human evolution, and it's very much part of us growing beyond our perceived boundaries, our mental perceptions, and our perceived limitations. If we're able to decode the way the body is doing it, and if we're able to um, get an algorithm uh, for how this is possible for us, the science and the technology and the medical perception and medical industry and so on will evolve, to levels that are not even imaginable so far. So that's what we're presenting today, a possibility of human evolution that is worth being tried on, and it's sure enough worth being researched. And to my view, it's been ignored long enough. I even have friends who are very much in the scientific field and very much in the medical industry, or non-medical but alternative medicine industry, who are still tiptoeing around the subject, without getting deeper into it, not even from a scientific perspective. And I'm really curious why, because it's so in our face now, and it's so obvious that this is possible. um, so far I've seen new of you joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to use the chat box next to or below the video to present yourself. Maybe type your name and city, so that we know where you've joined us from, and we're looking forward to hear from you. If you have any questions on this, have you had any um, knowledge so far of pranic nourishment, any um, contact with it, or is it the first time you're hearing about this? How are you feeling about the subject? What is your experience and questions about it? Use the chat box to commune with us. I'm looking forward to turning this into an interactive event because I don't want to do all the speaking. I want to hear you as well, and I want to hear what you're expecting from this subject. Um, okay, so also, I wanted to tell you that this is a donation based event. We've created this to support humanity into understanding this possibility and to understand how we can access more and more of this chi or energy field that is nourishing us all. What we suggest, for the viewers is that if they can support us back, because we do a lot of volunteering activity and we are preparing to join a lot of gatherings in the future months, you know, to be able to support this reality. If they can support, if they want to support us back, there's some donations links below the video or also in the event link where you can make donations to support us, and you can get access, of course, to all our work, free work on YouTube to enjoy. And you can also visit our website, soulhealingacademy.com, where there's a lot of articles and published research about this theme. So that's what we're doing in our spare time or our free time, to support this reality. And we really need your help as well to be able to continue this and also do it, harmoniously, um, and maybe broaden our team, because we really, really have more and more projects um, coming on, and there's a lot of work to do. So far, we're working on the Pranic Consciousness Summit, which is the online platform that we're having, and where we're interviewing and holding open talks with the pranic specialists and the scientists that we know in the field. It's an ongoing summit that will go on for as long as we're having wonderful people on this planet talking about this. We're organizing the Pranic Festival in Romania, which is also a beautiful event in its second edition, where we gather together all the Pranic speakers that we know, and they're holding conferences and doing healings and sharing their life path with the ones that are willing to attend. And we're also preparing the next edition, so the second volume of the Pranic World Book. So this is the first volume, being free from hunger. The second volume is being free from fears, that we're working on now, and we're working on several different projects as well. We're willing to bridge science with the holistic realm on this subject of pranic nourishment, and bring more and more scientists into the field so that they can research and give us maybe a more scientific approach, a more in-depth approach on how the body is doing this process of being nourished by prana. And as you know, we're also holding the pranic consciousness process online and as a live retreat or training to help people tune more into this resource of nourishment, and to help their bodies, but also their emotions and mental field tune into this reality and be able to master it. So this is our activity so far, apart from the healing sessions that I do with the pranic people and with the ones that are interested in this path and interested in evolving in general, not only pranic nourishment, but in general. So this is why we need a broader team, and we need your support if you're willing to participate. Going back to the pranic nourishment, what we've noticed, along this path, not only that is a mix of lifestyle and practice and grace, in which grace plays a big role. So grace is the X factor, the unknown or not controllable factor in pranic nourishment, because most of the people, some of the people that we know that are nourished by prana, for example, Prahlad Jani, who has been tested in hospitals for 10 and 15 days to demonstrate this possibility, and also Jasmine and others have had a lot of grace as the component of this path. So Prajani was initiated by a goddess in this. So, and starting from the next day, he was no longer hungry. Mm. Jasmine has been also in a process called the 21-day process. And after that, but without needing, without seeking to attain pranic nourishment. She was just doing a purification and the overall frequency lifting. But after that, she has been notified, by her cosmic friends that she does not need to take physical food, and she has observed that she is no longer hungry. Erica Whitten, another friend of ours that is now 83 or more years old, she has been in a positive, uplifting lifestyle for all her life. And at a certain point, she has observed that she wasn't hungry anymore. And therefore, she didn't eat anymore. She just, when she's out with friends sometimes, or in certain gatherings. But other than that, she's not hungry nor thirsty, and she's declaring this and sharing her experience with us. Mm, Nasim Harmin, another um, pranic friend of ours who has been on this path for more than 3 years in his early age, in his youth, um, has started to feel nourished in a different way while he was doing a very, very intense research and study into physics. So being out in nature, being daily, sunrise and sunset, hiking, in contact with the earth, in contact with nature, in contact with the very source of chi that is nourishing us all. At some point, he has noticed that he did not need to eat or drink, and he has lasted like this for about 3 years. He was only having meals when he was invited in his friends' homes, but other than that, he was not taking any physical food. And so on. The list is long. Merit or Mira Omerzel has had this initiation also via grace, but also because she has used a lot cosmic sounds, and by working with these sounds, she has refined her body up to a certain level where she didn't need nourishment. And since then, for 18 or more years, she's not taking any food. She cannot swallow any physical matter. She rarely, as I remember, if I remember correctly, she rarely takes water. So you see, there's so many possibilities, some by science and scientific study and nature, some by cosmic sound, some by grace alone and the grace of a non-physical master, some by an initiation and a lifetime of practice. There are so many possibilities to get there, but it's always a byproduct of a certain inner state, as you see. And because we're all unique and there's so many different typologies on this path, also the paths also different. And it's, if you're interested in this, it's your job to find your own path and to see your own rhythm with this. And if you've been through a pranic process and not yet fully nourished by prana, do not despair. This is what we're presenting in the book. We're presenting the very steps of alignment that have to do with detox and other methods for you to be able to patiently glide into this state, because it's a gliding into, it's not a sudden process, you know. And those of you who expect that after a 10-day process you'll be fully nourished by prana without ever needing to take physical food, you're heightening your expectation a little bit too much, and this will damage your self-esteem and your balance. Just have patience. Just make sure that you're leading a lifestyle that is nourishing you at the spiritual level, and then your body will naturally be nourished more and more. So let me hear your comments about that. What do you think? Can you be in this state? Can you be ever nourished by prana? Is this a possibility for you, or is it this just for the chosen ones, just for some special people, you know, living in the mountains? What do you think? Because we're here to tell everyone that this is possible for all of us, or at least for the ones of us who have this in the blueprint for this lifetime. Some of us do not have this as a blueprint, so they're still, you know, on the path of other possibilities and still, you know, to take some physical food. But those of you who have this on your blueprint, there's no escape or running away from this, and you will be there when your body is ready. I'm trying to put my speakers on to be able to listen, but maybe it's best not to be able to listen to some music. I won't do it now. So what is your take on this? Do you think it's possible for you? Do you have any experience with this, and or know anyone who has had this experience so far? What do you think? Okay, so I'm ready to take your comments and questions in the chat box. The chat box is next to the video if you're watching on laptop, or below the video if you're watching on smartphone. This is your possibility to commune with us and make this event as interactive as possible, because we don't want it to be one-sided. We would love it to be interactive and offer you the possibility to commune with us and have your you know, experience shared, or your questions answered. That's why we've created it. So as I say, if there's any recipe to this, it would be lifestyle plus alignment plus grace. The lifestyle is created, you know, for the alignment, and this is why we've written the books, and we've done the summits, and we've done the the Pranic process as well, because we want to get people informed about the lifestyle that is to be approached in order for this possibility to be available for you. Um, and we're going to share a little bit about the steps that we've included in our lifestyles, me and the friends that I've talked to, and the people that I've interviewed, what they've introduced in their lives, in their lifestyle, to be able to be nourished in this way. So when we've studied this, and also Jasmine has done a great research with questionnaires about this in the 90s, I guess, on the lifestyle of the people that have started this path and succeeded on it. And after doing this research, we've seen that there are about 8 things that all the Pranic people, most of the Pranic people that have succeeded in this, are doing on daily basis. So we're presenting this to you because you might be doing some of it, and some of it might be added to your lifestyle to help you increase your pranic intake. So the first thing that we all do is meditation. We all meditate, if not daily, uh, then surely we're meditating frequently. I personally meditate several times a day and during the night because with the therapy work that I'm doing and with the public speaking work that I'm having frequently, I have to be very, very fine tuned and clear and harmonize my field as often as possible. So this is why meditation time for me is very much increased this past few years. Uh, Another thing that we do daily is divine communion or connecting to the universe, to our cosmic friends, to our divine guidance. Without it, we are literally not able to do our jobs because um, this is what keeps us in tune with what we have to do, but also it keeps us in tune with our source of nourishment. And naturally, it can be done via prayer or it can be done only by intention, just, you know, opening and saying that I'm now willing to connect and commune with the most beneficial energies and the most beneficial life friends that can now help me and support me on my path. And just like that, you are fully nourished, fully connected, you know, very easily. Um, we daily are taking care of our thoughts. We are monitoring the thoughts. It's called mind mastery. We're monitoring the thoughts. We are uh, looking into what we are sending out via our consciousness. We are paying attention to our intention because our intention is creating what we are experiencing. And this mind mastery is practically bringing more and more clearing to our mental field and more awareness. And even though sometimes we might also get imbalanced because it's the physical world, it's our habits that have, you know, a strong impact and so on. Even though we might get imbalanced, mind mastery is a easy and very useful tool to get back to balance because you're very prone to see the cause and effect rhythms that you are creating. Another thing that we do is we are very aware of our daily diet. So those of us who are fully on prana, clearly there's not much to be worried about. You don't eat, and period. It's all you have to do is breathe and sun gaze and all that. But those of us who are still for a little bit nourished from also some amount of food are very, very aware of the food that we are intaking. And we do what I call intuitive eating. So in my journey, you know, when I came back from the dark room 4 or 5 years ago, and I started to um, go slowly back to physical food, you know, just a little bit, uh, I was no longer able to eat randomly. So I had to eat in a very conscious way. So when I was going to supermarket or when I was going um, to wherever it is that I was, you know, buying food from, I would have this way of tuning into the food, even from a distance, and see how my body reacts to it. If my cells were enjoying that vibration, I would buy the product. If my cells would constrict in any way, or especially my throat, I would clearly uh, not buy it, even if it was something that I used to eat before. So my body knows and knew exactly what to what to ask for and what to accept as nourishment. And very often I would be surprised by the fact that it would only choose just one thing for several days. For example, avocados or mango or something just for several days until something in my body was balanced. And it was not necessarily for nourishment, but just balancing a certain energy, because each fruit, each vegetable, each plant is holding a certain frequency that can be healing, rejuvenating, or um, even help with releasing certain energies or emotions from your body. And whatever your body calls you to take frequently is whatever it needs to heal. If it's a healthy product, if it's something like junk food, then we'll go there and we'll speak about detox and we'll explain why your body is requesting junk food. But if it's a healthy thing, then it's what your body needs to balance some energies. So intuitive eating, okay, it's something that we practice on our daily lifestyle. Another thing that we daily practice is conscious body movement. So treating the body like a temple and moving it every day with some sort of physical exercise. It can be yoga, it can be qigong, it can be dance, it can be running. Those of you who run and like it, it can be gym. Whatever your body needs, not what you think it needs, but listen to it and see what it reacts positively to. And that's the sport of movement that you need to do daily. And also, very aware, all the praying people that I know, and including myself, we're very aware of the products that we put on our body. So the cosmetic products, the lotions, the shampoos, everything we use, for our body, and also the clothes are impacting a lot our pranic intake and the toxins in our body. So treating the body like a temple. Another practice that we have is doing service, helping people just because we can, not in an unbalanced way, the savior's way, but a way that is beneficial, that is harmonious, a way that is supportive for ourselves and others, that is bringing us positive vibes as well. Um, we also spend a lot of time in nature as much as possible because that's what synchronizes our bodies to the frequency of natural elements. And we're also working a lot with sound and music, and that's what really helps our body synchronize very easily. And I'm going to share just a little insight about this right now, because I know many of you are sensitive to sound and many of you are searching more solutions to increase your pranic intake. So as I said, for the past days, I've been mostly on water and only in the evening taking a little bit of a vegan, soup or snack. And that's been very helpful for me because I needed to rest my body after a very, very intense journey that I've had during and after the Easter. So being mostly on water without not even being able of taking juices during the day, my body just needs to rest and relax. No, not processing any substance right now from the outside. Um, I've been feeling very, very energized, very well, but at some point I went out and I do my daily activities, and like now I'm holding workshops and healing sessions and so on. But at some point I went outside because I do a lot of gardening lately, and I work with plants and plant new flowers and stuff that it's really entertaining for me. I went outside to plant new flowers in a tire in a flower pot made of tires. And as I was painting the tires and I was arranging everything there, somebody in the neighborhood was using a machinery to work the land, and the sound of it was very, very disharmonious, like do 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 all the time. No, I haven't realized that first, but after a while, I was starting to feel tired, and I didn't know why. I was like, here I am outside in the sun, with my hands in the dirt, planting my favorite flowers, and having this wonderful time with an activity that I very much enjoy, getting creative with gardening and so on. Why am I all of a sudden feeling tired? And when I asked myself, I realized that it was the sound that was impacting my body in a way that was constricting um, the pranic intake in some form. The imbalance that was generated by the sound that I was hearing was impacting my body. When you're fully on your mastery, these things don't really matter. But at that point, when I was not really paying very much attention and I was more focused on my activity than on the outer perceptions, it impacted me a little. So what I did was I've integrated the sound, first of all. Integrating it means including it into your field, like making it be a part of your rhythm so that it no longer is dissonant, so that it can help you in a way. And I integrated it on a certain chakra so that it can help the rhythm of it. And then I didn't perceive it like as disharmonious. And then I went inside to rest and balance with another type of sound that was more harmonious, more of the Reiki music type. And instantly, my body started to feel nourished and rested again, just in a few moments. Because it was all about the sound is frequency. Naturally, it impacts the frequency of your body. If you know how to integrate it and then synchronize your body, it's very, very easy to get back in balance. Very easy, actually. So I'm just paying an example so that you can see how much sound is important for our bodies and how much it can really regulate or decrease our pranic intake. Um, and with this, there's been a lot of scientific studies that have proven, the impact of sound on the water in our bodies, on the physical cells, on the fact, related to the fact that we're 80% water, and naturally water is impacted by sound, as shown in Masaru Emoto studies. So um, that's why these 8 steps or 8 practices that I've talked about before are very, very useful in increasing the pranic intake. Each one of them, meditation, prayer, conscious or intuitive eating, treating your body like a temple, mind mastery, and all the other steps are very, very important because they all are part of the alignment. I told you it's three aspects that are the recipe for pranic intake. One is um, lifestyle, one is alignment, and one is grace. Well, lifestyle and alignment are the steps where you can contribute and bring your own rhythm too. And alignment includes these 8 practices that you can bring into your day-to-day life easily. And during the pranic consciousness process that we did online and that is now like a video class, we're talking more in detail about this, and we're actually practicing it each class so that people can get in tune with it and practice it at home. Um, Questions so far? Welcome the new ones. Happy to see that more of you are joining. I say for the new ones that you're having a chat box below the video if you're watching on your smartphone. If you're watching on laptop, you're having it next to the video, and you are invited to use it. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your name? You can type it so that we know where you join us from, or the name of you and the name of your city, because we're very, very happy to commune with more of you and know who's joining this webinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Also, feel free to ask questions, feel free to make comments. And my first question to you that I would love to hear it answered in the chat box is, what does Pranic Nourishment mean to you? When you first saw the title, what did you think of? Please share in the chat box next or below the video and tell us, what is this reality meaning for you? What is Pranic Nourishment? No scientific or complicated answers. Just few words, just two words that define it, or that were in your mind when you heard about it. Hmm? Any of you wanting to share about this? I feel such in a monologue now, but it's great to see that more of you are joining still. Okay. I was sharing that part of the lifestyle and part of the alignment is detox. You want to do detox when you decrease your food intake. And in the book, Pranic Nourishment book, we the Pranic World book, we're giving a lot of insights on how to do detox, not only at the physical level with certain plants and juices, but also at the mental and emotional level. We're referring to various detox methods that we've used on our journeys and the detox methods that other friendly people have shared with us. And we're giving tips and insights on how you can stay detoxed, because it's not only a one time process, but rather a regular process that one has to do, because we are in a world that is permanently infusing our bodies and our mental and emotional fields with various information. Some of the information we're infused it with is beneficial for us. Some of it is not that beneficial, and you want to clear that frequently. So now I'm referring more to the mental and emotional detox. Also about the physical detox, you, even if you're not taking physical food in that large amounts, or even if you're only taking fruits or juices, you still want to do the detox because you are probably not having access to only um, bio, very, very well grown vegetables and juices, and you want to do the detox to clear out maybe the metals or pesticides that you've accumulated. And about this, I've been surprised to observe that even though I've been doing a lot of detox in the past 8 years while on this pranic path, and I've been doing a very clean diet, um, which is, like I said, based mostly on fruit and sometimes vegetables. Um, and I was actually at the end of a summer of juices. When I did a test with machinery that we here called Metatron, it's an energy measurement machine that also measures the nutrients in your body, the calcium and everything else, and it's also measuring the toxins and everything that you are subjected to. When I did the test with this, they discovered a lot of pesticides. And yeah, fair enough. I was using a lot of fruits. Not always I had the chance to practice the harmonious washing of the fruits, with the things that take out the pesticides. So yeah, I had to do after a summer of all fruits, mostly fruits, fruit juices. I had to do detox on the level of pesticides and some other stuff, because it was stored in my body from somewhere, and that's why I'm saying that regardless of how light you are eating, at the moment, you still want to do detox at least twice a year, and some of us more frequently if on a pranic journey, because it's not always a bed of roses, even with biofood and so on. And that's a very, very important step to be able to increase the pranic intake in your body. Very, very important step. So, in the book, you have several detox methods, and I'm referring to fruits that are doing very good detox. I'm referring to juices, sorry, that are doing good detox, and plants, and combinations of them. And also, we speak a lot of mental and emotional detox for those of you who have grown past the the physical, detox. Maybe you've done it enough. Um, we want to do that because we want to make room for more light in our bodies. We want to make room for prana to circulate. We want to bring more of this energy and store it, because if the body is not cleansed, yes, the energy might come in, but it's not, it finds no place to be stored, and it gives us that, it gives people the symptom of, leaking energy. So you have outburst of boosts of energy sometimes, and then you feel very, very drained the next time, because you haven't detoxed your body and your energy field enough to be able to store and healthily circulate the energy. So again, back to the science, because it's a very, very important um, pillar of the pranic nourishment knowledge. Um, we not only have discovered through the research that I referred to earlier that this unaccounted source of energy is available for all of us, but also we have discovered that it has been known for thousands and thousands of years. You know, Dean Rodin, the chief scientist of the Institute of Noetic Sciences, has written a book on this, and he has referred to this science being having been discovered, at least 5,000 years ago. He has discovered references to pranic nourishment in the Yoga Sutras, who were written by Patanjali in, I guess, 2500 before Christ. I'm not sure about the year, but very, very early on. And in this sutras, which mean insights or knowledge, um, he was referring to the body's ability to be nourished by light or chi or prana as part of the supernatural human abilities called siddhis. And this siddhi was called pada. So, see, the spiritual scientists back then were knowing that this is possible. And they were also knowing the science or the practices of how to get to it, and they've also written books about it. So you see, it's a well documented, practice. Also, Tesla was referring to this in one of his statements. He was saying that it is all natural for the human body to be able to evolve to the stage where he can extract energy from the vacuum that is available for all of us, and Tesla was knowing how to do it and has proven this, and that it will be a stage in the human evolution where most of us will be able to do it as a natural state. So, no longer a supernatural approach of it, as it was 5,000 years ago, but a natural state also declared by such a renowned scientist like Tesla is. So, you see, there's various ways to approach this, but it's still so real and so, mm, you know, under our noses, so to speak. Um, And it has been also studied in laboratories and in hospitals. Several pranic people have been tested in hospitals, and we are now aware that, for example, Prahlad Jani, who I was referring, the Hindu pranic, who I was referring earlier to, has been researched for 10 days and then for 15 days under very, very accurate study in several hospitals. And he has proven no need to take food or water and no imbalance in the body. You know, he was naturally forming urine in his body and then transmuting it so it would literally disappear under the surveillance machineries. And he was able to perform um, this research, this study, healthy and happy for more than 15 days. But he's been nourished by prana since, I guess, 93 or so, so many, many, many years. Also, a scientist, whose name is Michael Weber, uh, I guess he's from Switzerland, who has also written a book about pranic nourishment, has been tested in hospitals and for several occasions, but the results, even though successful, were not published. And he's working on a daily basis as a scientist and doing a regular job and having a regular family, yet he is nourished by prana without the need of taking any physical food. He has now slightly withdrawn from public attention because for him it's just a normal lifestyle. He doesn't want to get any, you know, or not much public comments. But there has been research done on this, and it has been proven as a fact, as a natural reality. And also, there are some scientific explanations that I've discovered and published in my book that are explaining this from a biological level. You know, there are several websites, including ABC News, that have published studies on how it might be possible for the body to be nourished by energy alone, and it has been proven. I'm just going to refer to it briefly because I'm not a scientist nor a biologist, so I don't want to take credits for knowledge that I don't master. But they say that the main energy resource in our body is through production of ATP. So it's a molecule that is actually nourishing our cells. It's an energy form that is nourishing our cells, and this ATP is believed to be produced by food intake. But they have discovered that also melatonin is responsible for regulation the ATP production. So, in other words, the more melatonin we produce, the more ATP we produce. That would be the correlation. The, so, what we need to do is find a way to produce melatonin and then, even DMT to be able to have this ATP, the cellular energy resource, regulated. Okay, I hope so far it's is as clear as I can get. So the energy resource of our body is regulated by the melatonin production and the DMT production. How, the natural question would be, how do we produce more melatonin? Another study has shown that the rhythm of our melatonin production is influenced by our lifestyle. So therefore, our lifestyle is responsible for how much energy we have in our cells. And to go further into this, the brainwave patterns, the patterns that the brainwaves make when we are in agitation, and the patterns that our brain makes when we are in calm, are also influencing the rhythm of melatonin and the rhythm of ATP. So the more we stay in the alpha theta state, which is the calm and peace state, and mm, it's similar to the state before going to sleep, the more we produce melatonin, the more we produce ATP, the more our body is nourished. And it appears that the pranic people that have been researched are able to maintain themselves in a state that is as close to alpha theta as it can get. So most of the day they are spending in this alpha theta state. Therefore, their body is producing naturally more melatonin and is regulating naturally the ATP production. And it also seems that melatonin is responsible for inhibiting the production of ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. So the more melatonin we have, the less hungry we feel, or the less this hormone is produced in our body. So therefore, if we maintain a balanced state, a healthy and a happy state, a relaxed state of mind, which is called alpha theta state in science, and brainwaves science, the more we produce melatonin, the more we increase the ATP and we decrease the ghrelin hormone of hunger. That would be a scientific biological approach to pranic nourishment. That would be the link or the connection between our lifestyle and our inner state that we maintain during the day and the hormones and the chemical activity that is going on in our body to keep us in a state of health and nourishment. So the secret to it will be to discover these activities in your day-to-day life that would keep you in a relaxed mental state and do them every day so that you can be more and more nourished. It's as simple as it can get. And with that, I think I've explained it all, at least at the biological level. What else can we say about this? Because, there's so much information going on out there. And you can go on our website, at the home page and see all the articles that we've published. Or if you want it all in one place, you find it here in the book, because we've we've managed uh, to resume to comprise all the important information that we've discovered so far, along with my personal research, and put it in this book for you to have it more accessible. Because you have your book by the bed. Maybe you don't like to be online all the time and reading on your phone or and so on, but you have your book by the bed, or maybe your Kindle by the bed, and you can take the book and and see all the information and the studies in it, and tune into it, and find more and more on this possibility. And before we go further and go towards the completion of the webinar, I'm going to read you the table of contents so that you know what you can access through this book. What is the information in it. So we've written about the pranic details, as I was sharing, and we've given details on um, plants, juices, and fruits that can do detox in your body, but we're also talking about emotional and mental detox. We've written about the pranic festivals that I've been in and the pranic people that I've met, and also about the pranic processes that I've been tuning into around the world that are held by various pranic teachers and their end results, and what's the best maybe approach of these processes for you to be able to go through them with a healthy and happy attitude and maintain your pranic level at home. We've talked about um, also the scientific facts as I was sharing, and we've approached the definitions and studies that have been done on chi and prana. We've talked about the breatharians or the pranic people that have been tested in hospitals and the results that they've been bringing to us. We've been talking about the studies of the unaccounted source of energy that we've referred to in this webinar, and also the hormones behind the pranic nourishment, the hormones behind hunger, but also the hormones behind feeling nourished. The ATP and so on. We've talked about the pineal gland and its role in this pranic nourishment process. It has a very, very um, strong role, and it's actually been measured on another pranic being who's called the Hira Ratan Manek, who's holding conferences and initiation all over the world. It's been proven that his pineal gland is actually way bigger than the normal, and I'm sure some of us also do have um, this feature because it's naturally increasing via sun gazing and other practices. So it's an organ, but also an energy formation that can be enlarged, and with it, it can enlarge the capacities of our brain functioning, as it has been proven. We've been talking about pranic lifestyle and the various practices that the pranic people have been doing to maintain and attain this state. We've been talking about the studies that have been done on meditation because we want to know about the effects that it has on the body and on the mental state. We've been talking about the conscious breathing, about the brain waves, like we've shared earlier, but there it's more detailed. And we've been talking about also the possibility of living without thirst or living without uh, water intake. And this is also explained, from a biological perspective a little bit. There are also bacteria that have been found to be nourished by light, and it's also referred to in the book. And in chapter 3, we've referred to pranic paths and journeys of the people that we've known and the possibilities that are out there for you. So, what you can choose to increase your pranic intake and how you can do it harmoniously. Uh, Also, we've talked about how to keep it safe because safety is important on any holistic path and on any path that involves the physical body. The physical body is one of the most advanced devices created in the universe, and it's also necessary for it to be well preserved for us to be able to function at our best and highest potential on this planet. And of course, I've been talking about um, my journey with prana and the work that I've been doing on this path is mainly a work of research and the work of opening gates for others because it's necessary now more and more people to tune into that. And I'm also not only working with people and groups of people and during the healing sessions and live retreats, but also working with pranic portals or the energy vortexes of the planet that are supporting us to be nourished more and more in this way. So the more the planetary consciousness is upgrading, the more us as humans are upgraded. And I'm directly working with this so that we can support the evolution of humanity on this. Mm, that's this book in a nutshell. You can find it on Amazon.com. You can find it. There's a link. I don't know if I posted it. posted it in the event page, but I'm sure gonna post it in the chat box so that you can access it. And now for 24 hours, it's only available as Kindle, but starting tomorrow, it's also available on paper, so as hard copy. But they're just going through some technical stuff there, and it's soon to be revised. Okay, so we're coming close to an end now. We're getting ready for the festivals that are to come. I'm gonna be live speaking in the Pranic Festival in Belgium in May 10 to 13, and in the Pranic Festival in Italy in June 1st to June 10, June 9 for me. And also in the Pranic Festival in Romania, August 15 to 19. The next festival to come will also be in several places in the world, but I'm going to refer to that as soon as it's ready. So I'm now keeping it as a surprise. Here you have the link to the book next to the video if you're on a computer, and below the video if you're on your smartphone. Thank you all for joining this. Check our event page on the website, the soulhealingacademy.com website. There's an events page there, and you can join our next best thing, the next events to come. There's a lot of work that we're doing, and we're presenting it there. So you want to stay tuned to that. Feel free to use the subscribe the subscribe box. We have a subscribe button on our website. It's right at the top of the menu there, and there you can put in your address so that we can inform you for our next event. And we're looking forward to also meeting you in person. So the subscribe box will take your data, and then you'll be always announced when something new is coming. And also, as I said earlier, we're functioning also on donation based. This is a donation based webinar. If you've enjoyed it and if it brought good information to you, we're hoping that you can support us as well, because we're we're needing a lot of help now to be able to complete the projects that we've started, but also bring in new projects on pranic nourishment and other advanced realities. And you have the donate buttons below the video or in the link next to the video. There's a link to the event next to the video where you can support us with a donation, so that you're a part of this project as well, and you're part of something bigger that is helping the evolution of humanity. We really need help also with volunteers in our team with translating the books. This is the 5th book that we're bringing into the world, but there's other 3 books that need to be translated. 4 books that need to be translated in various languages so that we are able to publish them worldwide. So our team needs to be increasing, and in order to increase our team, we are also needing to be able to pay them or make a harmonious exchange with them. So that's why we are appealing to your help. If possible, any amount is good. Any thing is received with great gratitude, and we're very, very grateful for your presence here and for bringing your light to this gathering and participating to it. Thank you, everyone. feel free to share. So the last link that I've posted is the link to the event that we've created on our website. This you can share with your friends. If they are joining, they can watch the recording and maybe support our work or join our work in any way. Maybe someone is willing to volunteer. We don't know. It's good that we can give access to this information and give access to the new book and give access to this knowledge and share it as far as and wide as you can, because it's really um, beneficial for humanity. Blessings to all. Hugs of love to everyone. Thank you for joining us, and looking forward to see you in our next events and hear comments and feedback about this event and about the book as well. Blessings. See you soon.